The prime Colosseum on Viseria shook with the shouts of 100,000 people. Tens of millions more watched from all over the galaxy thanks to the subline feed. I felt the rubberized turf tremble in my knees and fingertips as I tried to push myself to my feet. Blood dripped from my nose, and I couldn't stop it. The best I could do was avoid falling over. My vision was nothing but a cloud, and I tried to focus on my blurry opponent. She was off balance, too. I had come out worse in our last exchange, but she wasn't unscathed. That was my chance to strike again. My wand came up, trembling as I called water. With my concentration so shaky, the conjured liquid shook and dripped, barely holding together. I'd be lucky if I could hit her with the force of a garden hose. My vision cleared enough to see her, and her back was turned to me. She was facing the crowds in the arena stands that towered into the sky. White hair was cut short, and she raised red hands to the audience. They roared encouragement. Ships drifted lazily overhead as more people watched from the clouds. Holographic text flashed in the sky over the arena. "Finish him!" It would have looked like a scene from a subline game, but this was painfully real. She wasn't in a hurry to turn around, so I forced out the last of my concentration. Stumbling to my feet, I shouted as I slashed my wand. I outdid myself. A blade of water cut across the arena, white spray reaching the shield that protected the audience. It wasn't focused enough to cut through metal or even a particularly thick tree, but it should do something to her. She didn't even have her energy deployed. Only when the water cleared did I see her unharmed. Without turning around, she had shifted her upper body to the right. The compressed wave cut right past her, doing nothing but giving the spectators in the first few rows a thrill. She turned back to me and grinned. She was older, a veteran of the arena and the battlefield both. One arm had been lost to an Iron Legion ambush, replaced with an Aethertech prosthetic, only a low-grade one for now, since nothing better was allowed in the arena. "Not bad," she called. "I needed a shower." With exaggerated movements, she combed her wet hair back with metal fingers and gave a sigh. Of course, it wasn't for me. The cameras caught everything. And the laughter of the crowd shook the arena as much as their cheers had earlier. Without enough time to gather more water, I shoved out at her with basic telekinesis, but she waded through without effort and planted her left fist in my stomach. I doubt that was enough to knock me out, but the next thing I remember is being examined by doctors in one of the Prime Colosseum's prep rooms. The Viseri medics finished scanning me and gave me my instructions. Don't fight again for a week, don't dispel the healing spell, take 3 different pills twice a day each, before leaving me to peel my way out of my costume. They'd bandaged me up where they needed to, but I was still half-dressed. My entire concept was based around being a wizard, so I had a mantle over a padded combat uniform. I winced as I pulled it away, wishing I had someone to help me. While I slowly undressed and limped my way to the shower, a screen played in the corner of the room. I couldn't bother to turn it off, as it announced that the next warm-up fight would begin soon. I didn't look to see what anyone said about my loss. I didn't want to know, and more importantly, it's not like there would have been anything interesting. Most people wouldn't think anything at all. Humans were rare on the Viserian duelist circuit, and wizards even rarer. If it weren't for those things, I would still be performing on outworlds and colonies. My record wasn't good enough to fight in the Prime Colosseum. Not that I could call what I'd done fighting. I stumbled in the shower as the room shook, and I wondered about an attack on the arena before I realized someone was knocking. "Varric!" a woman's voice called through the door. "I'm coming in." I scrambled out of the shower. Fortunately, my bandages repelled water, so I'd been able to keep them on. "I'm in the shower." "I'll give you 10 seconds to get out," she shouted. 10! Never mind, I'm not going to count. You count!" I muttered the seconds down from 9 as I pulled on clean clothes without drying. My wounds brought tears to my eyes, but I managed to finish dressing before the door slammed open. It had been locked, but she had a key to every room in the Colosseum. My opponent strode inside, beaming. Her third eye shone white. "You felt that pressure out there, didn't you? When you feel like you're going to die, the eyes of the galaxy are on you, and you still cast your spell. That's when you're ready." Kyrie Priest was a legend of the arena. Not only had she stayed active for 23 seasons and counting, but she was one of the few Viseri to have earned an Archmage title. She was an Archmage of water elementalism, and my teacher. "I did cast a spell," I said, "but it was sloppy. I could barely pull it together."